Hi. Hi, guys. Hope you are all doing very well. How is it going? So, I was looking quite feverishly for the reactions from the Rota and the Bitter derangers about the exclusive, glossy, sexy, it was very sexy pictures and videos of Duchess Meghan and Prince Harry living and loving and having date nights while attending a Beyonce concert. A concert that, from what I gathered, at least the way Meghan worded it, I could be wrong, they were personally invited to. So you know full and damn well they got to meet the queen. And honestly, I love this for them. I mean, there really isn't much more to say. That what I loved about it, and some people in the Sussex squad commented, and I agreed, was it wasn't just the squaddies losing their mind. Everybody. Did you see some of the posts? Like and I will admit I can't post it here. A lot of the posts got a bit X-rated. Somebody said things like, "Oh, I will let both of them top me." And there's a certain aspect of Twitter that when your pictures get there, while it is hilarious to react to the thirst and the desperation and the exaggerated sexiness, I probably shouldn't post it here. It might be a bit too much for YouTube. We don't want to post vulgar stuff here, even though I do curse sometimes and call out these people, but they deserve to be cursed out. But I think the one thing that really came out for me was, and I'm glad members of the squad saw it, it is organic. It wasn't just the squaddies reacting. They got 10 million views, 7 million views. Almost every picture we saw of Harry holding Meghan smiling and them looking in love and her sitting on his lap and him kissing her cheek while he's filming them. Love. Many people who were not Sussex fans were responding. People were saying that a lot of people who are probably just casual viewers who probably don't even care. All they saw is a sexy, beautiful couple who look wild about each other, who look in love, having a good time. And some of them were asking, okay, now they can understand why the miserable people on British Isles are not happy. Oh, wow. I mean, it was nice to just see the general public engage and just see the story for what it is. Love. Ignore all the press nonsense, all the derangers, all the hate. This is literally a modern fairy tale love story that is unfolding in front of us. And that's why many of us, myself included, are rooting for them. I keep telling people that I don't know any couple that I am rooting harder for than... Well, I root for every couple because I believe you got together for a reason. If you're in a healthy relationship, I'll root for you. But in the media's eye, I can't think of anybody more than Harry and Meghan, really. I want them to be happy forever. I want them to live forever. I want them to watch their kids grow up. And personally, it's a thing of pride for me to see that the first royal to leave the royal family fold and its protection and its wealth and appear to build a legitimate career that might very well, that is, let's not even BS, that is currently overshadowing a monarchy that has existed for hundreds of years. A monarchy that spearheaded slave trade. A monarchy that spearheaded colonization, exploitation, abuse, destruction, and chaos. To watch a woman of Black heritage do what Meghan has been able to achieve now and is going to continue to achieve, honestly, is retribution. It feels like our ancestors, Meghan is of Nigerian descent, it feels like all our ancestors, the ones we lost on the way, the ones that rather died than let themselves be taken to a foreign land they don't know, it feels like the weight of the ancestors are lifting this woman, are joining hands together to lift her up. It sounds very emotional, but really this is how I feel. I feel like rooting for Meghan as a Black woman is the right thing to do because I want her to win. I want her to win. And that is a very good segue into this salty ass response. I mean, they're all beginning to look very stupid at this point. I want you to listen to this garbage.
The Duchess of Sussex has been making moves and she's hired a brand new chief of staff. Can you imagine needing a chief of staff?
No.
It's like being the president, isn't it?
No. When Aidan said yesterday about having a housekeeper, I was mind blown.
Yeah.
It's nothing. That's not my world. Anyway, but it's not the first A-lister Sarah Fosmo has worked for. She was previously Bill Gates' assistant. Wow.
Yeah, let's talk to royal commentator Richard Palmer. Richard, good morning to you. What are we to make of this?
Morning. I'm sure you do need a chief of staff. I'm sure you do. Well, it looks like a good hire on the face of it. I think there's always interest in their appointments because they've had a bit of a history, this couple, of losing staff. Harry had a chief of staff, Josh Kepler, who only lasted 3 months last year. I mean, it was his trial period, and I think they explained it as they both decided it wasn't going to quite work. But I think there's also this history of when they were working members of the royal family, some of the people who worked for them found it really difficult and came out quite bruised by the whole experience. So there is this interest in what looks on the face of it to be quite a fast turnover of staff. I would say in their defence that it is quite common. I mean, I think William and Kate have had a fairly big turnover of staff in the last few years.
Ooh.
And also the King has lost quite a few key members of staff who stayed on during the transition after the late Queen's death, but then have moved on as well. So I think it also reflects the fact that Meghan is trying to lift her career off again. She's gone back to basics, gone back to what she was doing before she got married, really, in many respects, and she needs somebody, I suppose, to help boost that part of her career.
Well, Sarah Fosmo, as we said, used to work for Bill Gates. Do you think coming from the world of software and technology helping Mr. Gates out, do you think that will be, transferable skills for her working for Meghan and Harry, or do you think it's going to be a little bit different for her?
I suspect it's more about the philanthropy, and Bill Gates is obviously one of the world's richest men. They really like. They look up to the Obamas and the way they run their private office as well, I think. So I think that'll be what it'll be about. It'll be about somebody who's got experience of dealing with philanthropy. Of course, the problem with the Sussexes is they need to bring the money in as well. And I'm not quite sure whether she's got as much experience on that front.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they have been out having a good time, celebrating...
Sorry, I want to quickly respond to that because that was just... So basically, they brought this man here to bash Meghan for hiring yet another person. And I love Richard Palmer, if he is the same Richard Palmer that gets his ass dragged on X. Because, my God, the Sussex squad... I have to give you the X squaddies. You guys are incredible. You guys do not play at all. As in, you drag everybody. I love that for you. Anyway, if it's the same person that is on Twitter, I'm actually genuinely surprised because he used to be quite excessively critical. But I think the dragging and the fact that he lost his job, and I don't know, maybe they're beginning to realize, or maybe they're beginning to see how this looks, or maybe their brains are beginning, I don't know, or maybe this is just a fluke. But I am genuinely surprised at how he's not falling necessarily for it. He's also trying to be as balanced as he can be, because I was going to shout out, what about Kate? And he just said, I was like, oh, okay. Because, yeah, again, the press like to act like Meghan and Harry can't keep staff. The very nature of the job doesn't surprise me. People are always leaving, guys. Right? You're working for people who are working in an environment where they have an immense amount of scrutiny. And not just that, the type of privacy and secrecy concerns here are very extra. I would say, based on how people react to Harry and Meghan, probably as high as most presidents and most world leaders. And I will also say this, right? In the UK here, before you start an appointment, especially a public appointment, there's something called DV clearance, SC clearance, and just standard BPSS clearance. And what this is to check you do not have any criminal record, you don't have any, shady practices with cells, because it's very easy for places that work with people with this type of profile to unintentionally hire people who could expose their secrets, people who are, I'm sorry to say, spies, from foreign governments, and based on what we've seen, spies from the royal family actually. So they have to do full vetting. Now in the UK, you don't start that job until you finish the vetting. And when you're working in public sector, which a lot of these jobs tend to fall under, civil service, you also do not start work until you finish this vetting. And based on the type of person you are working with or departments you're working with, your vetting requirements could vary. So there are some vetting requirements that could take 2 weeks, some could take a month, some could take 3 months, 6 months. So it's very possible that some of the people they brought on, I don't know how it works in the US, please feel free to let me know, Americans. It's very possible they brought on people who started working and maybe they found something out about them. Like they said, a trial basis, right? If it's a trial basis, they give you a chance to like go through the job. Can you handle it? Can I rely on you? Especially someone like Harry, who is very secretive. So I think I don't even also blame Harry for being paranoid. So if you're somebody who has to go on that a very strict non-disclosure agreement, you have very strict security requirements, and you're not able to manage it, because let's be honest, this type of work is not for everyone, right? There's nothing wrong in saying, Harry, I can't cut this. Or there's nothing wrong with Harry saying, okay, I like you, but you based on this, and it is not. There's a reason why when you're hired, you get 3 to 6 months or even a year's probation. People want to see what you can do. Can you manage it? Are you worth making a permanent staff? And just because people leave doesn't mean anything. It just means, simple. It didn't work out. It's not the end of the world. The same thing, I'm so glad he mentioned William. I'm so glad he mentioned Charles, because like I said, the nature of the work, I can see how and why people will want to leave a lot. Especially, I don't know about Harry and Meghan, but especially in the UK, from the jobs they've advertised, they don't pay well. So I'm like, why am I going through all this? You can call me, if I'm your personal assistant, you can call me at any time in the night, and you're not paying me enough. Of course I'm going to leave. I think there was one job I saw that was like 30-40k, and I was like, you guys are making 50 million a year, you're paying your personal assistant 40k pounds in London. Come on now. Yeah, so I'm glad he called that out, because this narrative in the press that they can't keep people is stupid. It's really very stupid. I don't even know where. I just wanted to call that out. And there was something that was said just now about why does Meghan need a chief? Because that's the snarky thing they were trying to say. Why would Meghan need a chief of staff? You guys, let's be honest, the presenters on this show are maybe making 50,000 a year, maybe. And it's if you have your own show, maybe you might get to 100. These people are maybe lower middle class, at best upper middle class. They're not making any real money. The only thing they are doing here is snarking. Many of them have their own YouTube channels for extra income, or they're, writing in gossip rags, or they're just haters generally. They're not making any real money doing this. So I wouldn't expect them to even have the brain to understand why Meghan would need a chief of staff. And he's trying to downplay Meghan's achievements. She's not trying to grow in any area. I mean, yes, she has already launched a brand. She is running her TV show. Of course, she needs a chief. Her as a founder, as ever, is growing. I mean, how many people do you know? Fresh products have never been sold before, fresh off a new brand, selling out everything in less than an hour. Of course, she clearly needs people to help her. She's now at a place where she's more confident in her brand and wants to expand. And to me, Bill Gates, former assistant, are you joking? Do you understand what? And then this stupid woman's comment of, that's software and tech. You do realize that a personal assistant is not the one writing code. A personal assistant is managing the diary, managing meetings, arranging. They are managing access to a CEO. They have nothing to do with the business, as in writing code or managing infrastructure. That personal assistants are very, very, to me, in many companies, they get paid more than than a lot of engineers, because you have access to a CEO. You have access to a very, very high net worth person who you have access to their diaries, their lives. You must hold their secrets. This is a very high paid and very prestigious role to have. So I don't know what they are talking about. Just because your broke asses can't fathom having a housekeeper, not to talk of a chief of staff, doesn't mean that Meghan doesn't deserve one. Can you imagine? Anyway, let's continue.
Beyonce at one of her concert things. I mean,
Cowboy concert.
yeah. Oh, right. There you go. I mean, I have to say, it's a lovely picture. I mean, they look happy, Harry in his cowboy hat. I mean, that's, they seem to be getting on all right, don't they?
That's my assessment of it. I mean, there's some of the reporting over the weekend has suggested it's all a PR show because things are not great behind the scenes. But I really don't pick that up, I have to say. Maybe I'm missing something, but I think there's a lot of angst there. There's a lot of angst from Harry, particularly about the family rift. And I mean, on that score, I think I was talking on GB News about how his remarks in that interview last Friday, was it, about how he didn't know how long the king had got left, how that would really upset the king and the palace because it undermines their message that he's getting better and all is well. But I guess what I haven't quite appreciated is that he really doesn't know. His father hasn't shared his prognosis with him. So I think he could have chosen his words more carefully there, but he was just expressing the fact that he doesn't know what's wrong with his dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're doing okay as a couple from what I gather.
Well, and that's look. Let's be honest. That's what it's nice to see. You want them to be happy. Just maybe slightly less controversial with it.
What? First of all, I have to say, Richard Palmer really surprised me, guys. I don't know what's going on. Is this a recession indicator? Maybe he's trying to keep himself neutral so he can play all sides. I have no idea. Or maybe he's just grown up. I'm genuinely surprised. If it's the same Richard Palmer from Twitter, the man has matured, my goodness. Because he used to be a right-wing deranger hack who would never say anything good about Harry and Meghan. And again, assuming this is the same person, he has to be, because who else will he be? I'm genuinely surprised at how balanced he is. And you know what? I'll say this. I didn't see any rumors over the weekend about Harry and Meghan's marriage. To me, I thought they were mainly talking about the fact that Harry is going through something with his dad, which is very clear. We're not stupid. We can watch the interview. But again, I think what I love about this is in the face of full evidence, it is hard to argue that somebody is up. And I was saying it on Twitter. The reason why everybody is reacting the way they are reacting to these latest pictures is, even if you are a casual watcher, even if you are a deranger, even if you are a squaddy, that picture, those pictures that were released, Harry kissing Meghan on his lap, filming them, nobody is that good an actor. They say, oh, Meghan is an actress, Harry isn't. Harry is not an actor. So even if you believe Meghan is being fake, of which that is your own miserable problem, what does Harry get out of it? If Harry wanted to leave Meghan, he can. What's stopping him from leaving? Harry would have just allowed her to go and stayed in the royal family. This narrative of the Sussex's marriage, I need you people to stop it. Derangers, stop it. Nobody is buying it anymore. You can't argue with what your eyes are seeing. You can't argue with what your eyes are seeing. So it's basically a thing of, normally if it was just a case of Harry and Meghan walking and just standing next to each other, they can spin narratives. But when you see videos of them loved up, touching each other, looking sexy, looking beautiful, giving us Hollywood royals, come on now. That's what I'm saying, that even the derangers, we can see they didn't have anything else to say, because it's like, the guy is like, I'm not seeing it. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Give me, if you want me to push this narrative, give me something. Give me a picture of Harry scowling. There's no picture of Harry scowling. And that was something they said from last year. Beyonce, look, I'm sure Harry likes Beyonce, but you have to be a Beyonce fan to go to her concert and love every single second. So it might very well be, okay, Harry knows one song or 2-3 songs, but he's not exactly jamming to Beyonce in his car. So catching him just standing, looking and standing, listening to a song that he may not necessarily know or even enjoy, doesn't mean he was bored. We saw, the interesting thing is they didn't even show videos. Do you recall when they were showing videos of Harry spinning Meghan around? I thought she was having a great time. This time around, I love how Harry more or less said, nah, you're not about to catch me sleeping. While they did catch videos of him looking around, yes, because he's protecting his wife, he made sure to post a picture of himself holding his woman, caressing her, kissing her cheek. That picture will be on Beyonce's website. Mwah. So now, what is the narrative? If you recall, on Saturday, I was reacting to Hugo Vickers throwing a stupid tantrum, saying even though he could clearly see Harry kissing Meghan's cheek, he could see Harry smiling with his full teeth, smiling at his wife, he was like, well, it doesn't really tell me anything. Shut the anyway. It's lovely seeing all their narratives be destroyed in real time, because once it happens, because it's always happening, because they need to save face, they either pretend what they are seeing is not what they are seeing, or they want to try and spoil, or if they want to play on your intelligence. So I guess that's what I'm saying. If you're new to Sussex Squad, if you're new to even just paying attention to the Sussexes, ignore the commentators. The only reason I even react to them is to drag them, as you can see. So yeah, guys, please feel free to go and laugh in the faces of these clowns. You can see what they brought this man here for. He did not give it to them, which was a way to drag Harry and Meghan. It didn't work, and they are kind of deflated. So yeah, feel free to drag them in the comments, guys. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy my commentary, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.